I think we have a lot of very generous people in this community with a desire to help. They just don't know how.
Once people understand what it is to receive help, they are motivated to provide help.
It's the season of giving. We look at why volunteering is good for your community and good for you too, particularly your mental health, as we shine a light on some local nonprofits making a real impact on those in need. Stay with us as we dive into your South Florida. Hello and welcome. Thank you so much for joining us. I'm Pam Gigante, and welcome to Your South Florida, where we choose one important topic each month that's having an impact on our local communities. We'll dive deep into that issue and take a look at it from several angles. This month, we're looking at the value of volunteering. According to the Corporation for National and Community Service, more Americans are volunteering now than ever before. A 2018 report found that more than 77 million adults volunteered with an organization. That translates to nearly 6.9 billion volunteer hours, worth an estimated $167 billion in economic value. For many nonprofits like Camillus House in Miami, volunteers are essential to serving people in the community who are in need. And for the past 13 years, their unique casserole program has made it a little bit easier for the community to lend that helping hand.
Hello, how are you doing today?
Hi, amazing, thank you.
When folks think about Camillus, they think of us as a soup kitchen and maybe a homeless shelter. And that's how we started. We had very humble beginnings, and that's how we began.
Hilda Fernandez is the Chief Executive Officer of Camillus House, a nonprofit serving Miami-Dade County's poor and homeless population for nearly 60 years.
I believe that we go beyond providing the proverbial 3 hots and a cot, that we do it with sympathy, with empathy, with a desire to help this individual fulfill whatever they need to fulfill so they can move out of homelessness and hopefully into housing. When you have to worry about where your next meal is coming from or where you're going to sleep, it's very difficult to look beyond that. Last year, we provided a little over 185,000 meals. We provide breakfast, lunch, and dinner for all of the residents of our emergency and treatment programs here on our main campus. In addition to serving hot breakfast every day to homeless clients that are coming in through our day center courtyard. It is also one of the most expensive components of what we do, and if it weren't for the fact that we have volunteers to help serve meals or folks that donate food or donate meals, such as the casserole program, it would be very difficult for us to do it.
The Camillus House Casserole program was developed in 2006 as a way to help offset the cost of feeding their clients nutritious meals while providing the community a unique and simple way to help.
I think we have a lot of very generous people in this community with a desire to help. They just don't know how. And the casserole program is really such a great example of how to do that, because you are helping feed homeless people.
It is an awesome family project. They're learning to help others that are in need, and they can do it in the convenience of their home.
Janet Armstrong has been a part of the casserole program since day one. Each year, she coordinates the volunteers and the monthly pickups of the casseroles for Church of the Epiphany in Miami.
Not everyone can go to the shelter and serve the meal, and sometimes they want to, but I say this is the way to go. We're feeding more people that way, and it's a great thing.
We've been making them for years. It's something I love to do. I'm passionate over cooking, and I know that when I do this, at the end of the day, somebody's gonna have a meal that maybe didn't get a meal.
It feels good because it helps with others and helps the community and helps with the people who are in need, for especially Camillus House.
I think when you're working hard in the kitchen, you have to be thinking, this better taste good. This better come out really well because someone's going to be depending on it. And that's a very good lesson to learn, that what they're doing is actually being given to someone who depends upon it.
Each of these casseroles feeds about 10 people. Today they've collected enough to serve over 600 meals.
Thank you.
And in about the 14 years that we have had these casseroles brought into us, I would say close to about 300, 400,000 meals that we have prepared here in our dining room and outside.
Bob Lozada is Director of Operations Services at Camillus House and oversees the casserole program.
The casseroles are stored here, and we'll use them 3 or 4 times a month in our menu. They are brought into the dining room, and they are prepared by our chefs and volunteers. They are transferred into pans so we can put those in oven. The menu is based on a concept or an idea that we will feed 200 to 300 folks on that day, but it's not just the casserole. We'll side it with a vegetable, a salad, a soup, a beverage, and a roll. It's a complete meal.
And while the thought of feeding the poor and homeless might only occur to some during the holidays, Hilda stresses this need for their clients is there 365 days a year.
It's a way of impacting beyond those certain days of the year that we always think about the family meal being important. Yeah, that's important, but for our clients, every meal is important. And the ability to provide them, healthy choices and a good, nutritious meal is very important for us. So our volunteers and those folks that take the time to put together these casseroles for us, I mean, it is such a blessing for us, and we feel very fortunate they chose to help in that way, in such a meaningful way.
And here to discuss the mental health benefits of giving back is Chira Cassel. Chira is the CEO of the CBC, or Children's Bereavement Center, a group focused on helping children and families to cope with the loss of a loved one. Chira, always great to have you with us.
Thanks so much for having me.
So let's talk a little bit about the positivity around volunteering. First of all, you have a master's degree in positive psychology. What is that exactly?
Okay, so positive psychology, if you've heard of it, people sometimes call it the science of happiness.
Okay.
I prefer to say that it is the scientific study of well-being.
Okay.
Because it's not just about fleeting happiness. It's about something that's a little bit more long-lasting and full. So there are many components that make up our well-being. So some of them could be positive affect, and that's what we think of as happiness. There's also engagement, so that's when you get fully engaged in something and you go into maybe like a flow state where you kind of lose time. There's positive relationships, so social support, very important to our well-being. There's also meaning, having a meaningful life and having purpose, and also accomplishment. And then I never like to forget about vitality. So also, how are you doing physically, mentally, sleeping, eating, exercising, those kinds of things.
So we heard often in that report about the casseroles is that people said, I feel good. And they talked about the food tasting good. You heard that word good a lot. And you could tell that the volunteers felt really good about what they were doing. So talk about that the combination of volunteering and goodness coming together. How does that all relate?
So, if you're trying to feel good, sometimes we do things and we focus on ourselves to feel good. But if you want it to be more long lasting, one of the best things you can do is sort of give it away.
Yeah.
And so, think about it. When you go and buy something yourself, you have a moment where you're happy. But when you give a gift to somebody, and volunteering is giving a gift, you get to use some of your strengths. You get to touch on your compassion. You also get to that positive affect, that happiness that you feel. We call it broadening and building, where happiness leads to more happiness. So you give yourself another outlet to sort of take that happiness a step further.
You said something really important too, because happiness is sort of like in the moment, and you want to find that sustainability. And is that what volunteering helps you to do?
Yes, and it helps you lock into meaning and purpose. So when you do something that's meaningful, that's a much longer lasting happiness that you get from that. You really feel like, what I'm doing is worth it. And you can see yourself also impacting someone else in a positive way, which also gives you a more positive perspective on the world at large. The other thing that, at the Children's Bereavement Center, the nonprofit that I run that we do, is we see that people really, when they are helping others, they have the ability to get social support also. So you get to be with other people.
And that's community, right?
Yes. That's one of the best ways. You don't want to do things in a vacuum. When you can have strong relationships, and that really can lead to positive growth within you and within another.
All right, we're going to talk more about volunteering in a little bit, but first we also want to talk about the Dania Beach Patch. You may have heard of it. It's an urban farm that's right in the heart of an area where locals struggle to access affordable, healthy foods. But thanks in large part to dedicated volunteers, the Patch has grown to become one of the largest market community gardens in Broward County, creating an urban oasis for locally grown produce for its residents.
Patch stands for People's Access to Community Horticulture. The mission of the Patch is to do community building and to provide food and opportunities for low income, low access people in Dania Beach, Florida.
In 2012, when it started, I came over, since I live right around the corner from here. I said, let me go over and see what I can help do. And I kept coming over volunteering, and here I am today, still here. This is the Patch. It's around, estimated close to 4,000 bags in here. This is 1.25 acres of land. I think that's enough to get you started. You have any questions again? None? Okay, let's go get it. It was put here to help educate the neighbors on how to eat healthy, because in this neighborhood we had only 2 local corner stores, and you know, at these small corner stores they sell mainly sweets and chips and what have you, because the furthest grocery store was all the way on the other side of Federal Highway.
In fact, where we are was considered a food desert. And if you understand the concept of a food desert, it just means that, you know, people have to walk farther than a mile. Now it's been changed to represent a half mile to get access to fresh produce, you know, to feed their families. Since 2012, we have eliminated this area as a food desert just by our presence and the fact that we have been able to offer at discounted prices fresh, delicious, you know, nutritious foods to the people.
Our patch wouldn't be sustainable without the assistance of the volunteers that we have from week to week. We partner with Hands on Broward to source volunteers, and we have many volunteers that come back week after week, month after month, bring their families.
We're gardening on weeding the plants today, and we use these certain tools to help us make it a bit easier. My favorite part about volunteering is sort of just like helping out the people and, you know, making the work easier for them because they work really hard sometimes.
We're not planting these seeds. Right. They're just falling off the weed and creating a weed problem for us.
What colors are the seeds? I'm completely new. I've never farmed. This is new to farming for me. I do like to help around the community, but I also am doing this for my school hours as well. I'm trying to at least reach for my Bright Futures scholarship.
Most of our patch staff really started as volunteers and, you know, have stayed on board with us to the point where they're employees with the patch. So our volunteers are really important for our sustainability because we couldn't do what we do without their help.
My father had a farm in the yard next door, and I used to go out and help him, and now here I am, farming the patch, which I left Dania years ago because I didn't want to farm, and now I'm back doing it. So I guess it's in my blood, and I feel proud of myself that I can grow produce that's healthy and good for a person's body.
I think we've had about 1,500 hours this year alone of volunteers, and which there's some fancy equation that they use, but that in kind is about $35,000 worth of time if people were getting paid. Yes. So it is a huge and positive resource for us.
So as far as return on investment from the patch, this is really a program that benefits everyone in our community. We have workshops on aromatherapy, beekeeping, nutrition. We have chef demonstrations. We teach people how to live a healthy lifestyle and to, you know, have nutritious options.
especially got a nice Saturday morning and you just want to go and kind of check out something different in the neighborhood. You don't have to go very far, and you can just come right into Dania Beach and take a look and walk around. And like Raquel said, there's lots of different activities that go on, not just the gardening and the produce, but there's also different classes that take place. And it's an opportunity for the community to come out and spend some time together and see what else we have to offer in the city.
That place is fantastic. And in Palm Beach County, Boca Helping Hands provides a wide range of services for residents in need, from job training to medical and financial assistance. They also serve hot meals 6 days a week and distribute over 6,000 bags of food each month from their pantry. It is a mission that would not be possible without a large network of dedicated volunteers.
Our food distribution program is a huge logistical operation, and we have a fleet of vehicles that are essential for our ability to distribute the over 2.5 million pounds of food that we are expecting to recover and distribute this year.
Gregory Hazel is the executive director of Boca Helping Hands, a nonprofit providing services to the local community for more than 20 years. Their biggest impact has been through their pantry bag program. This year alone, the program is expected to feed about 1,000 local families.
It involves us picking up food that is contributed by local supermarkets, local restaurants, local food banks, that we then prepare, put into pantry bags, and distribute here in West Boca and in Boynton Beach. It is our approach to helping primarily working families supplement their food supply.
With a small staff of only 15 employees, Boca Helping Hands relies heavily on the generosity of its loyal volunteers.
Volunteers are the lifeline of what we do. We have over 300 volunteers that are here, and many of them have been here for very many years.
My favorite thing about volunteering is that I have a place to go to help people.
B. Knight has been a volunteer at Boca Helping Hands since 2013.
In the warehouse here, we get deliveries all day long from different stores, and we take the merchandise and mark the barcodes off and then put them for distribution into pantry bags that get distributed in the main room. The food goes to the clients that come here, and the people are just people that need a little bit of help. And so they get, bread and pastries and canned goods. We have homeless that come here. We serve lunches. People can come and eat a good meal, and the food is delicious. It's wonderful. All the people that work here are really kind and sweet. I don't know how to explain it, but after I've been here, I go home and I'm just elated for the rest of the day, feeling just so joyful and happy. And on the days that I don't come here, I don't have that same joy. There's just something about being here.
Both my girls got involved with Boca Helping Hands through their school's Key Club. And then there was a need for someone to teach some basic computer skills, and my husband came aboard.
After 2 years of volunteering at Boca Helping Hands with her family, Kelly Altus was hired as the nonprofit's front desk coordinator.
We at the front desk are almost like a triage center. So our volunteers are very compassionate and patient people, and just sometimes we just need to sit with them and listen. It has allowed me to meet different people, get to know some of the clients on a more personal level, actually see them through their journey. The most fulfilling is the person that comes in and says that I don't need your food anymore. I have a job. Your job mentoring program or your job training program has helped me to do that. So I don't need this anymore, and I want to donate to Boca Helping Hands, or I want to volunteer now and give back. So that is, I think, the most rewarding here.
I think once people understand what it is to receive help, they are motivated to provide help. All you have to do is look around any community to realize that even in a place like Boca, known for its country clubs and gated communities, there are people with needs that are underserved and who need help. That's the gap that we stepped into and have continued to grow into. The fact that we've become what we've become also testifies to the fact that this need just continues to grow. in a sense, we have become the conscience of the community in that we are addressing a problem that they acknowledge exists, but perhaps don't feel equipped to undertake on their own.
Wow, also another amazing organization. And I think it's worth noting here that these organizations are open all year round. Even though we're talking about this during holiday time, these organizations are needed all the time, right?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
The work never stops.
Yeah, exactly.
We have to be there for the community year round. Absolutely.
So let's talk a little bit about, I just love that last piece, and both Kelly Altus and then B, the other volunteer, they almost have a positive physical response to the work that they're doing. I mean, you heard B say the days that she's not there she doesn't feel as well or as good, again, that same word, as she does when she's volunteering. So talk about what's happening to our bodies. There's a real physical response to giving back.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
And especially, when there's tragedy in your life, or there are challenges in your life, or you're seeing them in the world around you, sometimes you could feel a little hopeless. And it can be very empowering to be able to do something to give back and to have a sense of control in the world, and to feel that you could do something that matters. And it is a real physical reaction. We've actually seen in studies that, people who are depressed, when they volunteer, their depression goes down.
Wow.
You have the serotonin levels in your body
It's
go
called
up.
helper's high, right?
Yeah, just like
Yeah.
the runner's high.
Yeah.
Absolutely. It's a physical change in your body, and it's more long lasting.
And it's also a distraction from your own problems. We were saying that giving back, you have to focus on the other person. If you're stacking cans at the pantry, you're focusing on something else, and it takes away from your mind, maybe can move away from your own problems, right? Maybe physical or mental problems that you're having. Is that true?
Yes,
Yeah.
of course. We, in isolation, our problems appear this close,
Yes,
right?
yes.
So you kind of need to take the blinders off and widen the view and see that when you sometimes feel that really things are out of your hands, that there are still things that you can do to empower yourself and to increase compassion,
Right.
and to have an outlet also. People like to lock in to what they do well,
Yeah.
too. So if you're feeling like maybe I'm helpless for myself, having the opportunity to use the strengths that you already have within you to help someone else allows you to bring that out if it's dormant.
Yeah, and if you see that you're helping somebody else, it just gives you that great sense of satisfaction that
Yes.
that you've turned their life around, maybe in some positive way.
Oh yes.
Yeah.
We actually at the Children's Bereavement Center, we have many of our volunteers who they themselves had been in our grief groups, and they come back, children and adults, years later, because they had that sense of someone helped them,
Right.
and they want to give back, and they often talk about how that has been extremely empowering to them,
Yeah.
and how they really feel that when there's challenges, that this can be the silver lining for them, that there's a place where they can take the things that they've learned through their own struggles and sort of pay it forward.
Is this a great sort of therapy, if you will, for somebody who is suffering from depression or someone who feels isolated? Should they volunteer?
Absolutely.
I'm just thinking of somebody who's watching this and says, man, this is really what I need. This is speaking to me.
Oh yes,
Yeah.
absolutely. It's one of the best things that you can do for yourself, and you shouldn't feel guilty
Yeah.
that you're getting some satisfaction out of it.
Right.
That comes along with the territory.
What about people who say, you know what, I'd love to do this, but I'm too busy?
Oh, there's
How
always
can
a
we
way.
weave that in and talk about that? Because the other effect would be people who overburden themselves with saying yes to everything,
Of course,
right?
of course. Perhaps that's something that's an everyday commitment is
Yeah.
not for you. Sometimes people like to kind of latch into nonprofits where, they have a few different options a month and you can sort of do what you can. But even just something small, it can be something like even someone that you know. You don't always have to think of doing something for a full community. What's one little thing that you can do to make someone's day? To check in with someone, to send them a note, to buy the coffee for the person behind
Yeah.
you in line. those little things make a big difference, and then those people, it kind of takes a snowball effect.
Yeah, maybe grab a friend and have them go along with you. Do it in community,
Oh yeah,
right?
make it fun.
You know what else I really liked is, and you work with children at the Children's Bereavement Center, is seeing the kids who got involved. And some of them were very frank, you know, I needed the service hours or I needed this for bright futures, but they get addicted to it too.
Oh yeah,
right?
Yeah, and it's that physical feeling, it's the mental gains that you get from it as well. But then also people sort of lock into, I've been helped before, or when you see the effects of that your own help can give to someone else, it does kind of, once you get the taste, you want to do more. You know, and that's why I think it's so wonderful that there are in school, that there are clubs, and kind of make it cool to do that. Because no one gets to where they are by themselves. That's the truth of it.
Well, I bet that's what you talk about a lot in the work that you do at the CBC, right? You don't get there by yourself.
Oh, of course. You know, being in a group with other people who are grieving really gives you those opportunities to help one another. In grief, people often feel helpless and that maybe they're not working at, you know, their full capacity anymore. But to have others, to have the opportunity to say, you know what, you're struggling and I've got a suggestion because this is something that I do that
This
helps
works for me. Yeah.
It gives them the feeling of, wow, okay, I think I am, I can be helpful to others.
Yeah.
I have more, and I can have more self-compassion for myself. I'm doing okay.
Yeah. Chira, thank you so much for being here and for the work that you do with the CBC. We appreciate it.
Thanks so much, Pam.
Yeah. And we're going to have more information for you on all of the organizations that we talked about today. It's going to be on our Facebook page at Your South FL. As always, thank you so much for joining us. We hope you will join us again in January when we examine the impact sea level rise is having on South Florida's most vulnerable communities. Until then, from our family to yours, happy holidays.